Today we're looking at something quite fascinating in the gaming world. Despite the constant stream of new, advanced games, a title from 2013, Grand Theft Auto V, is still incredibly popular here in 2025.
It truly is remarkable. You see constant engagement, gameplay videos, detailed reviews, intricate roleplay scenarios, endless mods being developed. It begs the question, doesn't it?
It really does. Is it just nostalgia? Or maybe the game's inherent quality? We think there might be something, well, deeper going on.
Something potentially rooted in our own psychology, our relationship with the familiar, perhaps even our resistance to personal growth.
So that's our mission for this deep dive, to explore why we stick with experiences we know so well, using GTLZ as a kind of unexpected case study.
And maybe uncover something about our own hesitation to evolve, to move beyond what's comfortable. It's potentially an unsettling look in the mirror.
Think about it, a player replaying those first few missions, the ones they've absolutely mastered.
While completely ignoring newer, more challenging content updates, perhaps. Does that behavior ring any bells outside the game?
It's a striking thought, especially in an industry that thrives on the new. Seeing a decade-old game maintain such a strong presence, well, it challenges assumptions.
The sheer volume of activity, say on YouTube or Twitch, it's undeniable. It isn't just people fondly remembering it. They are actively playing, engaging right now.
So, could our preference for this familiar digital landscape reflect a broader human tendency, a preference for the known path?
I believe it connects directly to the psychology of, let's call it, predictable pleasure. With GTA V, after so much time, players know exactly what they're getting.
They understand the mechanics, the world of Los Santos, the boundaries of what's possible.
Exactly, and that familiarity removes the cognitive load, the uncertainty that comes with learning something completely new. It's an easy win for the brain's reward system.
That dopamine hit we often talk about. Familiarity makes it very efficient to access.
It does. But that same mechanism, that efficiency, can create a kind of inertia when it comes to actual personal growth. It's like forging a path in a forest.
The more you walk it, the clearer and easier it becomes.
And a brain favors that established, easy path. These neural pathways get reinforced, making familiar behaviors the default, even if they're not the most beneficial long-term.
That's a powerful parallel. Just like sticking to the known streets in the game, we might find ourselves reverting to old patterns in life.
Things like outdated ways of thinking, routines that feel safe but are ultimately unfulfilling, or maybe beliefs about ourselves that hold us back.
And the reason isn't always that these patterns are good for us. It's just they're familiar. They're predictable. There's a certain comfort there.
Even if that comfort comes at the cost of potential progress or, well, genuine happiness sometimes.
So it's not necessarily a lack of desire for something better.
Often, no. The crucial point is the gap between wanting growth and being willing to actually go through the messy, sometimes uncomfortable process of change.
The process itself can feel disruptive.
Immensely. Think about engaging with anything new, a different game, a new job skill, even a new relationship dynamic. There's always that initial phase of not knowing, of feeling maybe a bit inadequate or clumsy.
That discomfort of being a beginner again.
Yes. Compare learning a difficult new piece on an instrument versus just putting on your favorite familiar album. One requires effort and vulnerability. The other is pure, easy comfort.
And scaling that up, starting a new business, committing to a healthier lifestyle, building deeper connections, these all involve stepping into the unknown.
They absolutely do. And that brings up potential challenges. Facing imposter syndrome, perhaps bumping up against old emotional wounds, dealing with sheer uncertainty, even worrying about how others might perceive you.
Faced with all that, it can seem much simpler, in the short term at least, to just retreat, go back to the familiar, press play on the level you've already mastered.
Even if you know deep down it's not really moving you forward. This tendency links to several key psychological ideas.
Such as?
Well, neuroplasticity, for one. While the brain can change, it also has a strong tendency to strengthen the connections it already uses frequently. Repetition builds these.
Oh.
Let's call them comfort loops.
Making it the brain's default setting to follow those loops.
Precisely. And in our digital age, it's easy for certain platforms, games included, to become what some call digital safe zones.
Places where we know the emotional landscape, unlike the often unpredictable terrain of real-world growth and interaction.
It offers a controlled environment, a predictable source of feeling, which can be a crutch when facing real-world complexities.
There's also that hurdle of feeling like you need to be ready before you start something new, the myth of preparedness.
Yes, that feeling that you need to reach some perfect state of readiness before you can possibly take the leap.
But isn't there that saying, something like, The bridge between who you are and who you want to be is built while you're walking on it, not before.
That captures it perfectly. Waiting for that elusive feeling of being fully prepared can actually be a subtle form of procrastination, a way to stay safely within those familiar boundaries.
It keeps you stuck in the planning phase, essentially.
And what's particularly striking here, coming back to GTA V, is the contrast between what the game offers and what we often pursue in real life.
How so?
The game provides this compelling simulation of power, of control, freedom, exploration. These are things many of us crave in our actual life.
Absolutely. Agency, excitement, the ability to shape our environment.
But the irony is, we often chase these feelings in reality by taking the path of least resistance, sticking with the familiar, the comfortable, rather than embracing the very challenges that might actually lead to genuine power, control, and freedom.
So we seek the feeling in the simulation, perhaps because achieving it in reality feels too daunting.
It could be part of it. We choose the comfort of the known game over the discomfort of the unknown growth path, even though the latter might lead to the very things the game only simulates.
That really makes you think, especially when you consider the effort people put into the game itself.
Think about the time, the energy, the focus invested in upgrading virtual characters, acquiring digital assets, mastering complex game mechanics.
It's considerable. Hours and hours sometimes.
So here's a question for you listening. What if that same level of dedication, that same focused effort was channeled into cultivating your own mindset, your real-world skills and capabilities?
What if we invested as much in our personal development as we do in our virtual pursuits?
That, I think, is the core issue. There's a hard truth here. Sticking with the familiar feels safe, it provides security, but it almost inevitably limits growth. It can lead to stagnation.
And the world outside the game doesn't stand still, does it?
Not at all. Change is constant. To thrive, to navigate this evolving reality effectively, we absolutely need the capacity to unlearn old ways, learn new things, adapt.
Staying comfortable, staying the same, ultimately leaves you unprepared.
Ill-prepared to deal with inevitable shifts and challenges. The safety of the familiar becomes its own kind of trap.
So as we wrap up this deep dive on why a game like GTA V holds such lasting appeal, maybe the final thought isn't really about the game at all.
Perhaps it's about us, about the reflection it offers.
The most important question might be, what old version of yourself are you still playing? What familiar patterns are you running simply because you know the controls so well?
Reflecting on that could be the first step toward choosing a different mode of play, one that involves real-world challenges, yes, but also the potential for genuine personal evolution.
Consider that energy spent mastering a virtual world. Could it be redirected? Because while the familiar offers safety, the world truly demands adaptation. It requires us to evolve.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Deep Thoughts Podcast. I hope you found insights and inspiration to take with you on your journey of self-growth. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And don't forget to follow us on social media to stay updated on new releases and exclusive content. See you next time, where we'll continue to help you grow and explore your full potential.